It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there is a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. And some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. And when they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend of Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are on location this morning. You guys can let me know if you can hear me okay. Wow, I have not done a remote show in a really, really long time. And what can I tell you except, woo-wee, honey child. Things are, this is the definition of, when Caribbean people say something been jerry-rigged. Well, I think we jerry-rigged it, and I think it's working. Hold on. Can you guys hear me okay? Everybody can hear and see me? Well, I'm not going to complain if it's all working. I'll take a picture later on and show you guys the behind-the-scenes look of when you got a little bit of determination to get things done, you just do it. You're going to make it work. So good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully everybody on Bobo 103.1 can hear me as well. Please give me a thumbs up if you can. And I'm just going to refresh the links here and send those out to everyone. But I do believe we got a miracle in our hands this morning. I think it's working. OMG. Okay, let me see now. Hold on, honey chill. I need to send the links. All right, hold on. Oh. Why is it not letting me type in the channel section? All right, give me 1 second. I think oh, I'm in the wrong one. Hold on. Okay. So folks, yes, Biwi says yes, teacher, present. Beautiful. All right, so here's the good news. The good news is we are live. And the better news is I'm on vacation. So I should say Gigi's on vacation because we are, you guys know how it is. When they get their little midterm break, you gotta do a little something with the kids, right? So that's what we're doing. I'm here doing a little something. She's still sleeping, good for her. She gets to sleep in. I had a rough night only because I was trying to get this working in a better way for radio, especially, but that didn't quite work out. And my support was in the UK. So I was up till 1 o'clock and then back up at 4 o'clock. So I am literally operating on no sleep. Hashtag team no sleep today, but that's okay. We're gonna get through it. And I think we're good. Hi, Miss Iva. How are you? How are you? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Barbara G in the house. Happy Monday. Good morning to Miss Wee Wee. Adi Dale. I think I got that one. How does the audio sound? Audio sounds okay. Okay. Good morning, Miss Emma. And yeah, so I think we're good. Like I said, this is a little bit, a little different. And I've got a little monitor extension over here. So what I'm going to do, give me 1 second. I do want to fix my monitors so that this second monitor is actually an extension of an extension of the first one. Hold on. Show desktop. Okay, hold on. I hear people pinging me already. So I do have to figure out how to silence that. So let's identify monitor 1 and 2. So I want to not duplicate, but I want to extend. Okay, so now when we extend it, keep changes. And then we've got identity. Yes, okay. So that's good because what I now have to do, all this is being done on laptop, folks. Praise the Lord for laptops. Can we give a big shout out to whoever created laptops? So what I'm going to do is for this show, I'm going to just pull this screen over here. And this is my little portable monitor on this side. Now, I got to be honest with you. This is my monitor. So here's the thing. I apologize because I've actually never used the second monitor before, had it sitting there forever. So I don't know how to get this is where Marlon Papi Chulo would come in really handy if I had him to tell me I don't know how to set this up. Like this is supposed to be the thing, like the, the stand. And boy, right now, to me, it's just a floppy thing. So I don't know how to do that. So we're going to just leave it. I might message him later. I don't know if he can remotely tell me how to set it up properly. But anywho, we're good. We're good, I think. Let me see here. Yeah, okay. I don't know how to do that. So maybe I don't mess with it so that nothing goes wrong. Okay. So this monitor, this is where we're going to have the show number. Now, listen to me carefully. We got instructions today. So I am monitoring the show number 936-2626, but only on WhatsApp. Because I am traveling, that means that you have no direct calling. So, call me on WhatsApp. And it's free. Even better. Everybody's free. Regularly, it's free on Flow. Big shout out to Flow. But today, you call them WhatsApp and it's free for everybody. Andrew, we good? You can hear me loud and clear? Everybody can see me okay? Hello, Miss Olivine. How are you? All right, Miss Pat, class is in session. I haven't forgotten you, Miss Iva, and I've already forwarded the message. So I'm just waiting to get a response. So as soon as I get a response back, I will let you know. Happy Monday to Diamond Princess. Patricia Blake is in the house. Olivia's here. So let's get this show on the road. And as you can see, I'm in a beautiful setting, enjoying the great outdoors. It's a little bit cool. It feels nice and cool. And then I got, beautiful lake behind me. Gorgeous. So something a little bit different. Sometimes even at home, I feel like I want to go outside, but child came out and be so hot. We're going to start doing shows out in the garden. Thank you, Miss Janine. She says, have a great holiday. Thank you. And by the way, not for nothing, but today is President's Day in the United States of America. Low key, I'm surprised that Trump hasn't renamed it to Trump Day, because that is totally something he would do. All right, so we can take phone calls. The weather here is nice. It feels a little bit nippy, like it's a little bit cool. Clear skies, clearing up. Had a little bit of rain yesterday, but yeah, it's been beautiful, windy, gorgeous where I am. So there you go. All right, so let us start talking about what happened over the weekend. So obviously, I traveled on Friday. I skedaddled out of Cayman. And before I even left, I was all of a sudden getting messages that there had been an incident. Oh, Lord. If I could just take these young people and kind of choke some of them into, taking their lives more serious. Ay, ay, ay. I don't know what to say with you guys, but you guys have got to understand that you only get one life. And if you don't value your own life, let me just make an adjustment over here for Instagram, folks. Yeah. If you don't value your own life, well, I can tell you one thing. I know nobody else is going to do so. So it is really, really unfortunate that we even have to talk about the fact that we lost another young man and to violence in the streets of the Cayman Islands. Of course, I want to extend my condolences to his family. I don't know the young man. I don't think I know his family either. Sometimes I don't really know people, but they'll be like, "Oh, I know you." But I'm just really, really sorry. I don't know what else to say except if I had one message to give to young people, the one message would be that you need to run from trouble. There's certain company that you shouldn't keep. Anytime you see trouble, just run like a bat out of hell. I mean, that is my 1,000% honest advice. Because ultimately, these situations only end a couple ways. And this is definitely by far the worst possible outcome is for someone to lose their life. And 99.99999% of the time, it's just company that you've been keeping, so-called friends. Trust me, they're not your friends. They're fair weather friends. And I feel like some of our young people are out there constantly looking for something to belong to, people to hang out with. I don't know, I don't know what else parents can do to try to redirect their children who like to hang out with a certain crowd. Unfortunately, when you grow up with people, sometimes you feel obligated that those have to be your homies. And so I think, quite frankly, part of the messaging has to be that those individuals don't need to be your homies, and just encouraging young people that you can stand on your own 2 feet. You can just be you. You don't have to run with the crowd. And sometimes not running with the crowd is literally going to save your life. I can't stress that enough for our young people, because I feel like a lot of them just kind of have this peer pressure thing going on where they want to be seen, they want to hang out with certain people. And, if those people are not being productive, Andrew, you're absolutely right. He says, show me your company and I will tell you who you are. Trust me when I tell you, even from my own experience, this saying is absolutely 1,000% accurate. You got to be mindful of the people that you spend time with. And the more time you spend with those people, the more aligned you are with those people, whether you recognize it or not. And that's the sad part. And so, we talk about this all the time on this show. Like, okay, we take from the highest all the way down. We talk about Donald Trump. The fact that he was hanging out with Epstein does not bode well for him. There's absolutely no way that anyone could be on Epstein's private jet at his house. He's at your house. All this, you're spending all this time together and you don't know what kind of person he is. Nobody can convince me otherwise. And I know y'all be arguing, well, unless he's prosecuted. No, honey child. Unfortunately, most offenders get away. And especially when you are in the billionaire club, in the millionaire club, you have a different type of justice. And so, yeah, they were all involved. And unfortunately, a lot of them will never pay the price, especially in the United States of America. I do see European folks, especially in the UK, taking a stand. They're demoting people, they're firing people, they're hopefully investigating for criminal charges. But I no longer have any faith in the judicial system in the US when it comes to this particular administration. So I know that nothing will come of the Epstein files. But once again, who you spend your time with is indicative of who you are. Show me, yes, Andrew, show me your company and I will tell you who you are. And elevate yourself, young people. Stop wasting your time hanging out with people who their lives are not going anywhere. They don't have a dream. They don't have a vision. Nothing. You know, I'm going to tell you all a personal story because I feel like this really resonates in my heart. When I first moved to the States, you guys know I lived in the US for 15 years. I pretty much grew up in the States, right? That's why you got American twang. I think it hit me like when I got to high school more so than anything else. You know, in middle school, still trying to find your way a little bit. But, you know, everybody has their little cliques and you see the groups. They're so evident. The nerds hang out with each other. The jocks hang out with each other. That's the athletic ones, in case y'all don't know what a jock is. You know, you've got the people who were like into alternative music and they always wore the dark clothing and they kind of had that edge about them. They all hung out with each other. You saw people being attracted to each other because like attracts like, right? And I remember kind of looking at some of these groups. At first, when I first got to the US, it was a little bit confusing because you also see division. Well, back then, probably the same thing. You also saw division, like in the cafeteria, especially amongst colored lines as well. So all the, you know, Hispanic kids were kind of hanging out together. Back then, to be honest, weren't that many Hispanics. I didn't feel like in Tampa anyway. But the Black kids, a lot of them kind of hung out together. You had the white kids kind of hanging out together. And so I was a little bit confused by that because I wasn't used to that. So I was kind of like floating around in the cafeteria and they kind of thought I was really, really weird at first. Plus they didn't understand my accent. So already I was like weird to them, right? And so, but when I started to get a little bit older, I started to consciously choose where I would sit in the cafeteria and what group I was hanging out with. Now, you guys know I was raised in a very, very strict home. So there was no hanging out after school. But even in school, the people that I wanted to be more like is who I wanted to emulate their drive, you know, the smart kids. I was like, I want to be them. Okay. I'm going to be studious. I'm going to be studying hard. I don't want to hang out with someone who wants to sit down, smoking pot, wasting their time at school, skipping school, getting in trouble, always ending up in the principal's office. That wasn't me. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. That's not the life that I'm looking for. I want to actually, you know, be focused on my studies. And so it helped that as I was getting better grades and I was performing, naturally they push you into the honors classes and the advanced placement classes. So kind of in a way, naturally, I was hanging out with those kids anyway, in the sense that they were in my classes. And I can tell you the way that I saw life and the way that I even thought started to shift and to change. Like the guy who was our valedictorian, I think he was our valedictorian. When I graduated, he actually had his own little business. You know, he came from a single parent home because they talked about his story at the graduation. He came from a single parent home. And so he had a little lawn mowing business. And they were saying how on weekends he was mowing lawns and working in order to earn money to then pay for university. And I was like, I respect that hustle. Those things just motivated me. We had a lot of Asian kids in our group. Well, not a lot, but we had Asian kids in our honors and AP classes and stuff as well, because academically they were excelling, they were doing amazing. We did debate class together, our debate club. Whenever we did like our little school trips, we were hanging out as a group. So you can, and this is one of the tenets of successful people. Any successful person that you speak with who is like a life coach, motivator, whatever, but they've actually got the experience and they've got the backative to be able to give you advice. Because, some of y'all be out here talking about you're a life coach and it's like, what makes you a life coach again? Anyway, they will tell you straight up, listen, first rule of success. You want to be successful? Find a couple mentors, people who have done what you want to do, and really try to spend as much time with those people as you can, have them give you as much advice that you can take on board and emulate those people, right? And so that's a conscious decision. I think a lot of us are just falling into the company that we keep, and we don't even think about, why am I hanging out with these people? Who are these people? Just because they grew up in the neighborhood with you, you feel compelled to hang out with them. No, don't feel compelled to hang out with anybody. People will call you all kind of names, honey child. Trust me. Oh, you think you're better than us and this and that. Don't worry about none of that, because you're going to stay alive while they're out here gangbanging in the streets and doing the most. I don't know what to tell you, because at the end of the day, that's not going to further your life. That's not going to get you anywhere. So try to stay focused and surround yourself with people who have purpose, who have meaning in their lives. And I think that you will find that you start to elevate yourself, because those people are going to motivate you. A lot of times they're going to look out for you. They're going to give you good advice, as opposed to trying to keep you down into the, into the gutter. Yeah. So elevate yourself, man. Make conscious decisions that, this is not how I want my life to end. I don't want to end up stabbed in the streets of Georgetown off of Mary Street in a body bag. Okay. And the next one critical in Georgetown Hospital. Right? I don't want to be gunned down in the streets. No. Think of what you really want for your life and try to live it with some more meaningful purpose. And so that would be my advice to all the young people who are out there listening. You guys have got to elevate your life beyond where you are right now. So let me just have a quick look and see. Everybody with Instagram good? Because I know that's where the young people at, honey child. Checking my other monitor. So yeah, boy, them old people used to be like, boy, we trying to cover them in prayer. And I mean, that's great. Absolutely cover them in prayer. But I think we also need to be giving young people more practical life advice, because just sitting down praying for them and not telling them how to navigate this world really doesn't help much. And even the Bible speaks about this, for those of you who want to pick up the good book. The Bible speaks very, very clearly about, the company you keep. And there's lots of scriptures, lots of proverbs that speak on it, even talking about being evenly yoked and stuff as well. So there's a lot of direct verses in the Bible where it talks about the influence of the people that you surround yourself with. And there's really that constant theme throughout so much of the Bible about how relationships actually shape character, values, decisions, and ultimately even your spiritual direction. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that you'll be galvanized in terms of your beliefs, your core beliefs, often determined by the people that you surround yourself with. I'm going to throw out a few scriptures here this morning, just in case y'all want to grab your Bible, parents. When you're talking to your young people, You don't always have to refer to the Bible, but I say, hey, there's nothing wrong with reading some good scripture to them. 936-2626 on WhatsApp only, please, today. I don't have a regular phone on me, so I am away. So you'll have to link me up on the WhatsApp. But I would love for somebody to call me because I do want to make sure that the phone line is actually open. So somebody call me. Here's 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, do not be misled. A bad company corrupts good character. That's a good one. Amen. Hallelujah. I feel a little chill. There's a little wind that just came through here. Proverbs. I love the book of Proverbs. So such good life stuff in there. Proverbs 13:20 says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. Oh, yes. We got our first call of the day. Give me 1 second. I'm going to answer it. Oh, hi. Good morning. Okay, hold on. Can you hear me? Uh-oh. Hold on. Can you hear me? No? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Honey child. All right, hold on a second. Don't hang up. Don't hang up. I'm going to see if I can resolve this. So it worked last night when I did a little test call. Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's because it's on this other monitor. That should make a difference, I wouldn't think. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see what I can do. What I can figure out. So it might be because I moved it over to the other monitor. All right, give me a second. I'm going to test this in real time here so I can figure out. Let me grab this other monitor. I do have it over in this other screen, but maybe I can't do that. Okay. All right. Hold on, honey. Chill. Hold on. I need to grab it back from the other monitor. So let me see if I pull it over here. Okay. Hello, caller? No? Honey child. Can you hear me? Nope. Okay. Let me just try a couple things. Because I know for sure I was at work last night when I got a phone call. All right. Just give me 1 second. It might be something in the app here. Audio. No? Hello? Can you hear me? All right. Can you hear me, honey child? No, 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 no. Hello, hello, hello. Anybody there? Anybody? Anybody? Yes. Are you? Are you there? No? Oh, man. Okay, that's weird. I tested this last night with Sabrina and it worked. Sabrina, I don't know what I did, honey child. Hello? You're still holding. I can hear you through the display. Hold on. Hi. Can you hear me now?
Hi, I am hearing you.
Now I can hear you too.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, that is so weird. Because
Thank you.
hold on.
Okay.
I just want to screen grab the settings because this is a little bit different than what I normally have going on. So normally it is, I just want to grab these settings because I don't know why it's different. I'll explore.
I'm still here.
I know I'll explore the why later, but I just want to make sure that I've got the settings correct. So it says microphone on that and then speakers. Oh, you know what? Okay, hold on. I want to try one more thing because I think I know. There is something different that I did do. I actually, let me see where I put my little. I did change where the headphone is coming through. So I bet you that made a difference. Hold on. Hold on. Yeah, I bet you this is it. Okay, 1 second. All these little things matter. And this is good to learn though. Hello?
I'm still here.
You can hear me now?
I'm hearing you.
You're hearing me still? Huh.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that didn't really seem to make a difference. Let me make one. Let me make one change, and then you tell me if you can still hear me. Can you still hear me? No. Speakers are different. Hello.
You there?
You can hear me now.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Huh. All right. Well, let me put my speaker back in the front because it's a little bit easier to get to the front. All right.
Yeah,
well,
because there's a bouncing. The sound bounce off.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why it's different, but that's okay. We got it working. So I have a quick question for you. Yes, ma'am.
You hearing me?
You can hear me?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Hold on. I want to have a conversation. What do you mean bye-bye? You're not getting away that easy today. All right. I have a question for you. When in your life, and I want you to reflect on your own life, because I think sharing your own life experiences is important, right? Has there ever been a time in your life where you decided to keep a different company, or the company that you were keeping was influencing your life?
Not really.
You always hanging out with good people?
Yes, because I choose my friends wisely.
Yes.
I don't hang out with a lot of people.
That's the best thing too. Too many people, too much mix up.
I have 3 friends that I goes out with. That's it.
Yeah. All right. So you grew up with good people then. You're
good
so
people.
Fortunate.
Get some licks. Keeping company.
Yeah. So your mama didn't put up with none of that. She's like, oh, I can fix you.
Yes. That's how I grew up. Stay away from bad company.
Yep. It's good advice. It's very, very good advice. Thank you so much, honey. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
936-2626. Join the conversation. It's up only today. We had to make one little adjustment, but now we're good. And I can't explain the adjustment. Late after the show, I'll think about it, because I think everything else on the board is like the same. So I'm not sure why it's different, but whatever. We got it figured out. All right. So Proverbs 27:17 says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. I mean, it's just so logical. Like, yes, that makes sense. And so we have to be careful. I know somebody's listening this morning. They're thinking, Sandy, this resonates with me. Because I was keeping bad company. My life was going in one direction. And then I decided to stop hanging out with those people. And I did a complete 180. If you're that person, give us a call. Because you see, here's the thing. A lot of times our young people are listening low key. They don't want to admit that they're listening, but they're listening. And they need to hear that nobody's perfect. We all go through stuff. Sometimes we make bad decisions. But I feel like they need to know and they need to understand there is hope for them, and that they can really, really turn it around. Inspiring says, good morning. Actually, hold on one second. I feel like I need to, why is this side screen over here? Inspiring says, good morning. Wow, you look so good today. Really? Honey child. What a hot mess. Yes, sir. Thank you, Inspiring. Miss Lucille, joining us from the UK, says, my deepest condolences to Miss Ella and the rest of the family. I feel the pain. Who's Miss Ella? She's related to this young man who lost his life. Like I said, I don't know who these people are. So I'm sorry for their loss, of course, because I don't have to know them to know that this is going to be a tough and challenging time. Yes, thank you, Greg. The Goths. We had a few in my school. First Lady Jeanne in the house. How you doing, honey child? Aliana says, what? Auntie outside? Not in Cayman, though. This is not, what's the weather like in Cayman? I got on long sleeve because it's a little bit chilly out. Thank you so much. So yes, this week, hopefully the weather is going to hold up and we're going to do the show from outdoors. The black background is a little bit bright, but we're going to work with it. The sun is starting to come out and it's nice and crisp. The air feels good. Yes, feels amazing. Good morning, Robert. Andrew says, sad to see Cayman Islands youth losing their lives. We need some fathers to try and take the helm or our community to influence our young men. Peer pressure and bad influence, as the saying, devil finds work for idle hands. And that also is a very, very true, um, you know, statement as well. Here's another good one. Another strong warning can be found in Proverbs 22:24 through 25. It says, do not make friends even. Good Lord. Mhm. Do not make friends with a hot tempered person, or you may learn their ways. Honey, child, you can become a firecracker like me if you hang out with me. So what we call in the real world behavioral contagion. Yes. It's contagious. Your attitude is contagious, right? You got a positive attitude. You want to be around other positive people. Upbeat, when you're up to no good, boy, them little devils, you be attracted to them. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, honey child. How are
Good
you?
morning. I'm good. How are you?
I'm blessed and highly favored beyond all measures.
You got a story for me this morning?
Oh, honey child, I just wanted the opportunity to reach out
Yes.
to thank everyone who found the time yesterday to greet me happy birthday.
Oh,
I really
wonderful.
appreciate it. I appreciate your post. I thank each and everyone who greeted happy birthday.
Aw,
I enjoyed
that's so
myself. I
nice.
had a lovely time with my seniors at Simbocos. Oh, we had an awesome time.
Oh, you
A
had a
little
little party at
disappointed that you
Simboca's?
didn't pop in.
Well, I wasn't there. I'm away.
I could have swore I request your passport for some time back because you just have been taking the flight little too often without
Oh
permission.
God. But look, I went away and I still dedicated to doing the show this week. I was like, oh no, I can't not do it this week because I'm going away again in April. So that'll be the week that I'm off on a proper vacation. So there will be no show. So yeah,
How much vacations are you looking to
I
take
know,
in a
right? I
year or
gotta have to
so?
talk to the boss about it. But she's a very favorable boss because she knows I work hard.
You gotta go.
Mr. Amelia, on the
That is-
topic of the company that you keep, give us a story or an example from your own life of where maybe you were not hanging out with the best people and you were able to turn it around. Do you really, first of all, let me ask you this. Do you believe that the company that you keep determines who you are and who you become in life?
Yes, ma'am. I really do. My grandmother used to say, birds of a feather flocks together.
Yep.
Show me your company and I will tell you who you are.
Yes.
That speaks volumes. It speaks extreme, oh my God, above and beyond.
Yeah.
You have some people who influence you into doing things that you don't want to do or you shouldn't do.
Mm.
And even though you find that some of us would say, no, that's not right, and walk away,
Yes.
and it's not always work out at the end that some people are willing to walk away.
Yeah.
A lot of people think doing wrong is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting is cool. Bullying is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just to look big and feel big. But it's not cool and it's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a choice to choose to do the right thing or to do something that is not right.
Yes.
And I would advise to always try your best to choose the right thing. Do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good hurting people because at the end of the day, we have a mother who lost a son, a sister who
Yes.
lost
Very
a
sad.
brother, a grandmother who lost a grandchild. I have never experienced losing someone that close to me, but I can only imagine how that mother feel, how that
Yes.
sister feel,
Very sad.
that grandparent or entire family.
Mm.
So we need to be mindful of the company we keep and how far we would go or willing to go or let people influence us to go.
Mm. Yes.
We need to be very mindful of that.
Yes.
If you have friends that are constantly in trouble and encouraging you to get in trouble or to join them in trouble, they're not your friend.
That's right.
They don't love you.
That is right.
They don't care about you. Because if they did, they wouldn't involve you in these things, and then themselves wouldn't be doing these things for you to see.
Hmm. Hmm. It's true. Very true. So some words of wisdom
So
there. Thank you so much, Mr.
that's my
Amelia.
input on it. Thank you.
I
And
appreciate it.
thanks again for the birthday greetings.
Absolutely. I got a little something
Okay,
for
my
you for your
darling.
birthday when I come back.
Okay, darling.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So yes, I mean, some very, very true words there. Mr. Darren, good morning, says Proverbs 22:6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Well, sometimes we see them departing. Not that they're not got the good foundation, but boy, some of these kids, you can try hard with them, and boy, they kind of, ay, ay, ay. Darren, but yes, if they don't have the foundation at all, then it's like they don't even have a choice, right? Anthony says, Sandy, can we talk about why the government would bring Freddie McGregor? Okay, let's get to that. Not really on topic, but we'll get there. Irvlin says, I was never one who was attracted to those type of people. If my spirit doesn't gravitate to you, no, bro, we can't hang out with you. Andrew says, what we as parents do in our lives, set an example to our children. I could have gone down the wrong path. And that's also a very, very true statement. And this goes back to the responsibility that we have as parents. Because quite frankly, let me just see here. Yes. Yeah, quite frankly, as parents, I know a lot of Caribbean people don't think that you should be your child's friend. I don't agree with that personally. I'm of the opinion that you can be friends with your children, but I do think that you need to be their parent first and foremost, right? So, and when I say your friend, I mean, honestly, I think that you should be best friends with your children. That's just me. That's where my mindset is. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Morning, darling. Not bad. How are you?
I know you're working from abroad, and
yes, that's
I
okay.
appreciate you on this morning.
Thank you so much.
Condolences to the family that lost their loved one. Sandy, I want to give a short example of what following the wrong company could do.
Yes, I think
I
that's
remember
important.
back in the
Yes.
day when crack cocaine and cocaine had just came on the scene, especially in Georgetown Central. And I had a lot of friends that we used to hang out with, going to Buttonwood Club to party, Blue Marlin to party, Farmers Bright Spot to party. And it was so much fun back in that day.
Mm-hmm.
But when the crack and the cocaine came out, I noticed a lot of my friends were hanging out around the area. And I would always wait around for them, and they would say to me, soon come, soon come, soon come, because we all used to go together to the club.
Yes.
And I waited till late hours before the club was almost ready to close, and I noticed they wasn't coming. The following week, same thing happened. And I'm like, whatever's going on, it ain't good, because it's like I'm going to be losing my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going to the club by myself, because I didn't feel like partaking in
Yeah,
what they were partaking
one
in.
second for me,
because I
honey.
could
They
see.
said they can't hear you on the radio. 1 second. I did.
And I'm getting a feedback
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. How is that? Thank you so much for
Much
the
better.
callers that are. I think I figured out what was going on. But yeah, sorry, my apologies.
I'm not sure how much of it they missed.
Yeah, start over for us so we can make sure that they're hearing
Yes,
it.
I'm saying I want to give an example of what following the wrong crowd could do.
Yes.
I remember back in the day when we used to party hard at Buttonwood Club, Farmers Bright Spot, and Blue Marlin. They were the three top spots in Georgetown to party on a weekend. And it was a
All right,
whole
hold
bunch of
one
us,
second
George.
for me, baby. They still saying they can't hear you, so give me 1 second. I'm determined to fix this issue here today. Let me see here now. Output device. Mhm. All right, folks. Let me know if you guys can hear that now. I think we're having a little bit of issue there. Oh, let me see. Our radio listeners, let us know if you can hear that.
Are you hearing me now, guys?
Yeah, I mean, I can hear you, so we're just trying to make sure that they can hear you.
I'm actually speaking to the listening
oh.
audience. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, hold on. I'm gonna make one other little change here because I suspect I might know what it is. Okay. All right, let me see. Okay. Okay, so people can hear me. I think they can hear you now. Go ahead, honey.
Yes, I'm saying back in the day, most of us young men used to go to the clubs. There were three particular clubs that we used to frequent on a weekend: Buttonwood, Farmers Bright Spot, and the Blue Marlin. And it was like maybe a dozen of us young boys would just go dance the night away. We had good fun back then.
Mm-hmm.
But when crack cocaine came on the scene, prior to that, we were all herbalists. We used to smoke weed together, all of us. And it was fun everywhere.
Yeah.
No fight, no nothing. We're just real good fun, partying hard, dancing, all the best music you could ever think of. And then when the crack cocaine came in, and some of my friends tried it, and I would still go with them and watch what they were doing. But when it was time to go to the club, I noticed that they didn't want to come. They were always saying, soon come, soon come. And they would still be there. And I'm like listening to the music from afar and watching the time, and it's going away. And I'm like, wow, we're going to miss the party, because then we just had a lot of girls that we supported with, and they were looking forward to seeing us boys coming to dance with them. So anyway, weeks went off, and I noticed the same thing started happening. So I'm like, wow. Anyway, I didn't want to be doing what they were doing because I just loved to party. And I would always go to party, and the girls were happy to have me. Sometimes I would be dancing the floor with mostly just women, no boys.
Wow.
So I said all this to say, my choice was not to do what they were doing because I knew it wasn't right. It changed the way that we were acting and partying. And then from time to time, I noticed that they were definitely not coming to party anymore.
Wow.
And then I could see strange things happening to their physical look.
Yes.
And their actions. And then I get to realize that was what was causing it.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I tried it once, and I remember that it kept me broke, because you stop till you're completely broke.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing to be broke. And I'm like, no way. I don't want this for my life. So I didn't bother with it. And Sandy, let me tell you, I lost friends one by one by one.
Wow, really?
By this time, I was all alone with the girls.
Yes.
But even that didn't feel right to me, because I'm like, me alone with all these girls? So it wasn't really right. They were starting to fight over me then, because the other ones didn't have any intentions of dealing with them.
Yeah.
Because that's what crack do. Crack keeps you away from women. It's just crack, cocaine,
Oh my
cocaine,
gosh,
cocaine.
really?
Right? So I didn't want that life more.
Yeah.
And Sandy, honestly, I prayed about that. And I was actually drunk the night that I prayed, because I really didn't want to continue doing what I was doing. And about 3 months afterwards, my prayer got answered. And I met the woman that I prayed for. We eventually got married.
Yes.
Started to plan out my life properly. She got pregnant with my second child. And
yes,
my life just became better and better and better and better. Then when those same friends that I used to hang out with used to see me now and then, they would say to me, what married life changed you? You're making woman hold you down now. Those are the kind of things they used to tell me. And I'm like to myself, wow, look at the way
Yes.
they think about me for
Yeah.
making the right choice.
Isn't that sad?
Sandy, today,
Mm.
I ain't gonna call in the names, but I can honestly tell you it's
Mhm.
about 10 out of that same group that I used to hang out with
Mhm.
are almost the same way they were 20 years ago.
Isn't that sad?
No advance in life. So I want to say
Nothing.
this to all the young men and women that are listening. Don't follow the crowd because it
Yes.
looks good and feel good.
Yep. Yeah.
Make the best choices. Plan your life for your future.
Mhm.
Your friend may look cool doing what he's doing, fine.
Mhm.
But think about how you want your life to turn out to be. And if you know that something is tearing your friend down, don't join that and make it tear you down too.
Mhm.
So I hope what I've just said
Yes.
could be of some encouragement to the young people today, because it's really sad when I look around and see even some of those that is like younger than me, yeah, because they have better opportunities than I had when I was
Mm.
growing up. These guys have opportunities for good jobs and stuff like that. I didn't have that much, but what I had, I
Mhm.
kept, and I fought and worked with what I had.
Yes.
So honestly, it's very sad to see the direction that some of these young men are going,
Yeah.
and also the young ladies as well.
Thank you
So I
so
leave you
much
right
for
there,
that
Sandy, with that.
testimonial. I really appreciate it.
You have a great day.
Thank you so much. You know, yeah, I mean, it's through testimonies like this, folks, that hopefully we can share with our young people that listen, a lot of your parents and even grandparents and aunts, uncles, we're not perfect. We're not here talking about perfection, but in all honesty, we need to ensure that you're getting the message that callers 936-2626 is the number. So I got to keep the calls to that because I'm limited in the options that I have with the remote setup. So the number for the calls is 936-2626, and yeah, you can get on air that way. But yeah, that was an amazing testimonial. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad that you survived, because there's so many people that have done drugs once and that's all it takes. So at least you survive, and it takes a lot, that gentleman sharing, because Caymanians and people all over the world like to be judging people. Oh, you did cocaine. Okay, yes. But he's telling you that was not the life that he wanted for himself. And as he's one of the downsides of it, it was actually keeping him broke. And he didn't want to be broke in life. And it's so sad when you mentioned that there are other people who were growing up with you. And I don't know how old that gentleman is, but he sounds like he's, well up in age now and mature. And he's saying that they're still doing the exact same thing. Can you imagine? Wow. That's pretty wild. Um, but I'm not entirely surprised, because unfortunately, some people never get to that point of maturity. And so the sad thing is, people always want to throw, and I find this even with myself, when you grow and you've matured, or you even are flexing in a different way, there will be these people who always want to come like, oh, you think you're better than that. That's like the go-to, you know? Um, that's their go-to mentality, because I guess they feel like, I don't know what I don't know why people say that to you, because I guess they feel like that's going to make you want to go back to doing whatever nonsense they're up to. Does that make sense? Is that something that you find compelling when people tell you, oh, you think you're better than me? It's maybe some kind of reverse psychology. I'm not entirely sure. But when people tell me that, I'm just like, maybe I am, from the perspective that I'm trying to elevate myself. I'm not staying in this mindset, right? I'm trying to mature. I'm trying to do better, trying to get better, trying to, I'm on my hustle. So if you see that as being better than you because you've made the choice to do nothing with your life, then so be it, I guess. All right, 936-2626. I think somebody else was trying to call in. I am monitoring. Let me see here now. Hold on, honey chair. I am trying to monitor. I think I just closed out the WhatsApp. Hold on. Oh, yes. Oh, my apologies. My apologies. I think I missed a caller. Oh, honey child. I'm trying to get all the calls here. Let's call this person back. Let's do a voice call. I think we can call him. Ooh, what bird is that? Ooh, that bird sounds like they're in distress, honey child. That's an interesting sounding bird in the background there. All right. Okay. All right. I'm trying to call somebody back. Didn't get that one. This person in the comment section says, good morning, Sandra. Excellent program. Would it be possible to have the gentleman back on so more young people can hear this? Or can you have a special program featuring his story? This would be fantastic for more of our young people to hear this. God bless as always. Thank you so much for that. I mean, we can certainly ask him. You know, one of the things that I always say is we need to have more Caymanian, and nothing. This takes nothing away, because I know for a fact that we have a lot of expats who get involved in the community in terms of, you know, they do what used to be Big Brothers Big Sisters. They've since changed their name, and I don't know what they're called, but they're called something else. My apologies for not knowing this, because I feel like I should know what they're called. But they have a different name now. But what I will say is, you know, quite frankly, Caymanian children need to hear from Caymanians. Once again, I don't want to take away, there's a lot of wonderful expats who have made amazing contributions to this community, and they've helped a lot of children. But I do feel like when a Caymanian child can identify with the person who's sitting into them as a mentor, you know, there are things that you know and that you understand. When you can talk about, you know, yeah, I'm going down in Swamp, and you know, I grew up in Dog City, or I'm from Goat Yard, or whatever. Those children, that story, your history resonates a lot differently with those children than saying, oh, I'm from Compton. But like, they're not from Compton. They don't know anything about Compton. And this is why even the people that we choose to run Kay's Foundation, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, all these things, you know, I'm always a little bit taken aback by some of the people that we choose to put in those positions, when find our own Caymanians who have amazing stories of recovery and could really be a, you know, could really be a an example to our young people of what they can come from and where they can end up and what they can do. 1-to-1. Thank you, Ms. Holt. That's a new name for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. They somehow from the Big Brothers, Big Sisters franchise, I guess. It's an NPO. So yeah, and I feel like we need to have a mentorship program with Caymanians only, where we go into these schools and we sit down and we talk to these young people. Like whenever I sit down, I speak to a young person, and you know, they're sharing certain things. I can understand where they're coming from, and if I have something to say, they also can understand where it is I'm coming from. And that family connection, like, oh, Miss Sandra, I'll tell you, this is what happens when I go to the schools, and you know, I've been to the schools a couple times for like Literacy Day at Clifton Hunter. Big shout out to them for their Literacy Day program that they have. Those kids, because some of the children there are family to me. And they're like, oh, Miss Sandra, I'm your grandnephew or whatever. You know, I don't always know all of them. And I'm like, you are? And they're like, yeah, I'm so-and-so's son or daughter. And I'm like, okay. And it hits differently when those individuals are like, I know her, that my auntie, or that my cousin, or you know what I'm saying? And they take pride in that as well. So I really think that, thank you, Andrew. I've always said this, and there's so many people who are at the pinnacle, supposedly, of their industries, finance, lawyers, whatever. And when they get there, I'm not going to say they've forgotten where they come from, because I just said that I don't like when people say that, because I don't think any sensible person forgets where they come from. But I do think that they forget to give back to where they've come from. You know what I'm saying? You got to go and find those kids where they are. Go in the schools, go in the community, and want to spend some time with those children. And I think that that is really, really significant. So Andrew says giving back to our young community by dedicating 2 hours per week or month of our time is nothing. Exactly. But how many of us are doing that? I think more of us could and should be doing that. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How are you?
Hey, morning. Not bad. How are you?
I'm okay. I have to say that natural light looks good.
Oh, thank you so much. I
You got to do
appreciate
more.
it.
You have to do more outdoor shows.
Weather permitting.
You
Weather
look nice.
permitting.
hmm I just wanted to say, in my line of work, I just wanted to say that one of the mistakes I see many people make when it comes to their children and this thing of bad company and friends, is that they do things like
Yes.
banning the friends immediately and insulting their friends and or comparing their children to better kids and or they go straight to punishment without any form of conversation. All that does is that just pushes teens closer to their risky peer groups. And I just wanted to say to people who have children, especially teens, right? You see that need to fit in. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You see that need to fit in. All of us have felt that at some point in time, and I think for many parents is that they forget what it is that is. So some practical steps that you can use, rather than just banning their friends outright or insulting their friends or things. Stay curious about their friends. You can do things like if safe, right, you can keep your home open, let the friends visit, offer them food and offer them space so that you can monitor. You just want to observe and see what the dynamics look like, right?
Yes.
If you see that the friends coming home, your child is coming home from a group activity, and the child look for the energy level, look to see if they're energized or they're drained, or if they're more respectful or they're more hostile, or if they're more motivated or more careless. Some other things you can do is, as much as you can possibly, we have a plethora of extracurricular activities and clubs and events that you can put your children in. Put them in sports, put them in clubs, them in service groups, put them have them go out there and volunteer. I don't want people to lose what you said, Sandra, which was you as a parent have that responsibility to stay as involved in your child's life as possible, right?
Yep.
Teach your child how to filter out their friends.
Yes.
Who pushes you to be better, right? Who pressures you to act their values? Who are the people who are only around when things are fun or if things are risky, right? Because you as a parent, you have to teach them how to. You're not going to be there for them.
Yes. They have to
And
navigate these
you closing
relationships a
them,
lot of times on their own.
right? And they're going to have to do that. So especially in those teenage years where they have that, especially when that drive to fit in, like really, really hits them. Because that's the thing, Sandra, is that loneliness. You see that thing called loneliness, and when you feel like you can't relate to people, you can be the smartest achieving person in school, and you could be. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, you're not hearing me. You could be involved in everything, but you see, when you feel lonely and you feel like you don't have any friends, that's when you're the most vulnerable.
Yes, it's true.
So yeah, talk openly with your children.
Thank you so much for that.
And also trust them. Give them a certain degree of trust. Give them a certain degree of freedom to make those friends themselves. while still monitoring and there to advise them and that kind of thing. But whatever you do, don't just ban friends immediately, or start comparing them to, because all that's going to do is it's going to push teens closer to other risky teens.
So interesting. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Really appreciate that. That's good advice. I mean, I that resonates. Again, as parents, we're all trying to figure it out. Nobody comes with a perfect manual of how to do this. But when he was speaking just now, I'm going to tell you guys something. Many years in a former life, I was a professional development instructor. And when he was talking, he was reminding me of something called the lesson of the fist. Did I ever tell you guys about this? And so it's a really old, I'll have to see if I can even find it again, if I can find the video. But basically, the lesson of the fist is all about the fact that the more you try to pull someone away from something, the more they are going to resist. So it is a lesson in resistance and how to navigate relationships in particular. I'm trying to see if I can find this video because it's really, really old, I'll admit, but it is so good because the way that it demonstrates, the point, let me just see. The way that it demonstrates the point, you can't get any better than this, right? So what this guy did, he's actually a coach. Let me see here. I'm going to see if I can find it. It's definitely somewhere in my playlists, my archives, my save this for later kind of area, because it's something that I used to, when I did my training, I used to always refer to it, because again, it just never goes out of, never gets old. It's relevant no matter what. And so the lesson of the fist basically says, and it's a lesson of both physics, the resistance of physics, as well as what happens in the real world with relationship. So basically they get two people who intertwine their hands and they're like, okay, you pull, right? So one person pulls in one direction and that's the resistance. And then what does the other person naturally do? The other person pulls as well. So you create this constant tension between the individuals. So the lesson of the fist is sometimes, as that caller rightfully said, you don't pull someone away from a situation. And we all know this, right? Think about this. Some of you, you've dated people in your life. Your mom, I was like, no, I don't want you dating him. He's not no good, blah, 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 blah. The more your mother said that to you, the more you did what? The more you buckled down and the more you held your position and the more you were like, oh no, I got, even more. I'm going to, I got to go up against what they want. And so sometimes what you need to do is you need to just allow people to be, right? Give them, like he said, you got to give them that leeway, give them that room to be who they are, choose what they want. And then they have to recognize, and this is where subtle guidance can make such an amazing difference in someone's life, right? So you subtly shape, and this is the importance of when you are dealing with children, recognizing that, your child will become more and more independent. He talked about those teenage years. That's when they're trying to figure out who they are. They want more of that independence. They go from hanging on to your frock tail, your skirt, your arm, daddy's arm all the time. And they start to transition and they get a little bit older. As they start to mature, they want their own physical space. They don't want to hang out with you as parents as much anymore, right? They feel more secure in who they are. And then part of that growth process is we have to let go. We have to allow them to make some of their own mistakes. Now, obviously, if you see something that can kill your child, you're not going to be like, oh, well, just go out there and try it. No, you're going to like, no, you can't, but a lot of it is just very, very constant and gentle pruning. It is like that tree. What's the Japanese tree called again? The bonsai tree. You know how they get the bonsai tree to look like that? It's not a sharp, jagged cut. It is constantly over time. You are taking your time, and little by little, you're pruning a little leaf here, a little leaf there, and it takes time to get it into the shape that you wish for it to have. And I feel like as parents, that is the lesson of continuity. That is the lesson of, and so many parents like, this is where you're falling down now, You say something once, and like, well, I told him already. No, you might have to tell that child 1,000,000 times. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? Keep telling them. Keep sharing. Continually repeat the lessons over and over again. Because yes, it is through those lessons that your children will start to understand. Something you told them 5 years ago, you still saying it 5 years later, constantly. And that is how you mold and shape their character, their personalities. And as the caller rightfully said, sometimes they're still going to go out there and they are going to make their mistakes. And you have to allow them to make their mistakes. And, them old people, you say, boy, we can pray over you and hope that the mistake is nothing that you can't ever recover from. As the gentleman shared earlier, he tried drugs. There's a lot of people in their lifetime who have tried drugs, right? If you can avoid it, my recommendation is always try to avoid it, because unfortunately, that's one of those things that you don't always get out alive, because it only takes one time. And there's so many unfortunate drugs out there now, fentanyl and all this kind of stuff. Like literally you get one hit and you could be dead. And so there will be no second time. So these are the conversations, of course, that we need to have with our young people. There's certain things that you can't even try once, like the risk to your life and your well-being is just too great. However, there are things, the bad relationship, the bad boy. You're going to be able to keep your daughter away from the bad boy forever? The more you insist that she doesn't see that person, the more she's going to want to sneak around. She's going to want to do it. And, again, there are times when you just have to be there for your children in a different way. I'll give you an example. There was a parent recently, and I can't say too much because this is actually very much a real situation. She called me, and her daughter worked at a particular company here in Cayman. And I hate to say it, but the company has a reputation for, Lord have mercy. If I don't really tell you where it is, it's probably not going to make any sense, but I don't want to tell you. So let me just put it this way. The company has a reputation for people who are in a senior position in the company having relations with subordinates. And I don't know if the company doesn't have a policy against it, but they seem to, it seems to happen quite frequently. And the nature of their work, you can figure out what I'm talking about here in a second. The nature of their work with them traveling, y'all done know I'm talking about Cayman Airways, means that a lot of these pilots get access to these young, impressionable young ladies. And unfortunately, things happen when they're overnighting in Miami, overnighting in New York, whatever. So this mother called, and she had a daughter, fairly new to the organization. And she was really, really concerned about the fact that her daughter, who up until that point had still been a virgin, she said, and all this kind of stuff. She's like, no, I don't like how my daughter is hanging out with this person and how he seems to be preying on her. And I listened very, very carefully. What occurred to me is that the mother was very, very strict. And as someone who grew up in a very, very strict home, I saw the tenets of it immediately. I can trust me when I tell you, I can spot a strict parent a mile away. because I know. So I listened to her, and I know that that comes from a place of love, although sometimes it's not always the best thing. I do understand where the mother's coming from as well. So she's like, Miss Sandy. And I said to her, I listened to her and I said, what is it that you want me to do? I don't know you. I don't know your daughter. What do you want me to do? Why are you calling Mall Road? You want me to put your daughter in Mall Road? I said, that can't be good for her mental health. Like, that can't be what you're asking me to do. Well, I think that if you didn't, I said, no. There's so many times that I try to encourage these families when it comes to these family matters. Don't bring it to me. Go get a therapist. That's not, yeah, we got to sit here and listen to your salaciousness of your life and everything all messed up and whatever, but that's not going to help you. That's not going to help your daughter. That's probably going to make things worse. I encourage them to have these conversations privately, right? Try to resolve this. But the two of them were just not on the same page. I said, okay. I said, let me talk to your daughter because I want to hear what she has to say, her side of the story. So, young, impressionable young lady. This pilot, way older than her, old enough, actually had a daughter older than her. So, way older, old enough to at least be her dad, if not even maybe a little bit older than that. Anyway, I spoke to the young lady. I spoke to the pilot as well, funny enough. And of course, he's trying to deny stuff. And I said, listen, I wasn't born this size, so don't take me for a fool. Whatever you want or you have going on with this young lady, it needs to stop because you wouldn't want anybody doing this to your daughter. How would you feel? Well, she's over 18. I said, no. Don't bring that foolishness to me. You would be vexed as heck if somebody was doing this to your daughter, telling me she's over 18. That don't make no difference. I spoke to the young lady. I said, young lady, I can tell you something, right? I understand how you must feel because your mom is so strict. I've been there and I get it. Like when they're too strict, sometimes you rebel and you go 180 degrees the other way. But I said, trust me, nobody is going to have your back like your mother. She is trying to talk to you. And I know she might be going a little bit overboard and whatever, it's because she loves you, right? She knows what's out there in this world. She loves you. And ultimately, when your life gets screwed up and ish hits the fan, the only person that will probably be there for you is your mother. This guy, he got a wife. He gonna leave you. He's just using you. He just wants to add you to the list of, another virgin that I've gotten here at Cayman Airways or whatever. He don't care about you. And I said, I know it's difficult to hear this. Consider me an aunt. Been there, had experience in life, and I'm telling you that this man don't mean you no good. Because if he did, he would not be putting you in this situation at all. And I had to say to her, I'm not going to leave his wife. I don't care what he has told you. The wife, you've been together for 20 something years, whatever. I said, no, she's used to him cheating and she knows that this too shall pass. And then he'll go out and probably buy her a nice fancy car to make up for it, kiss and make up and whatever. And you're the one who's not going to have your reputation tarnished in this organization. People are going to know, you slept with this pilot. And I said, here's a funny thing about it. When stuff starts to happen at work, who you think they got fired? The pilot or you, a little stewardess? You're disposable. You are more disposable than him. And they should have a very, very strict policy at that airline against zero fraternization. You should immediately be terminated as a pilot because of your position, and she's a subordinate, and most organizations recognize that type of relationship is basically sexual harassment. That's what it amounts to. These girls don't have any real power when a pilot walks up to them and say, I want to sleep with you. You know what I'm saying? So they shouldn't even allow it to happen. They should have a very strict policy against it and fire people immediately, starting with the pilot, as far as I'm concerned, and not the subordinate. Anyway, I talked to the young lady and she said, thank you so much. I have a lot to think about. And I really appreciate you being forthright with me. Then I went back and I had a conversation with the mother as well, because I had to say to her, Mom, listen now. I've spoken to your daughter. Ultimately, she is an adult. I can put that in quotes. She's over 18. Her brain does not fully develop. And I told her this as well. Your brain is not fully developing until you're 25. I said, tell me what you think a big man in his 40s can offer you as a 19-year-old child. You are a child to him. What do you think finds attractive about you? What do the two of you have in common? You can sit down and talk about what? This man has lived a full life and then some, right? He's not attracted to you because of your intellectual capacity or the fact that the two of you are going to be having interesting conversations about where your life is going to take you and where the two of you are going to no. Intersect. What? You're not even on the same page. The things that you will go through in life now, he's already lived 1,000 times over. And I said, that is why if you want a little boyfriend, please go and find someone who is more appropriate with your age, right? Find another 18, 19-year-old. My apologies. Who is growing up just like you, who's going to be into the same kind of music. And if you want to listen to a little bit of Cardi B or whatever, he can understand that vibe. This 40-something-year-old man. And then I had to tell the mama, I said, Mommy, listen, I understand where this is coming from, but you need to ease up on her as well. Give her some freedoms. You can't keep her locked up like the princess in the tower for the rest of her life. Because I said, unfortunately, the more you resist even this situation and this relationship, the more she is going to rebel. What you need to do is just sit down and talk to her, right? Trying to take away her money and take away car and take away this and take away that. Listen, they're going to find a way to be together. And I think you're only pushing them more and more in that direction. So continue to maintain, because the thing that she needs the most is she needs a relationship with you. That is what she needs the most, right? She needs you as her mother to be there. Because yes, when this fails and you got to pick up the pieces, I agree that ultimately you're going to have to be there for her. But if you alienate her when things start to happen, she's not going to come to you, and you unfortunately are not going to have any influence over her in a positive way. So I was begging the mother to please, Mommy, just roll it back a little bit. I need you to be less aggressive with her. And I'll tell you that I also spoke to the pilot, and I said to him in no uncertain terms, I said, I don't like what you're doing. I don't have no respect for this kind of behavior. You know it's wrong. I don't really care how you're trying to justify it in your head about she's over 18. I said, no. I said, let me be very, very clear here to you. You have got to do better. This is not a good look at all. Okay. And so, he's more concerned. The funny thing is, he was the first to come see me because he was more concerned about ending up on Mall Road. And I said, well, let me put it this way. You're not going to end up on Mall Road this time. But if you keep this foolishness up, I can see where you're going to be another William Barden, where eventually you're going to end up on Mall Road. Eventually you're going to be out here marrying multiple women and trying to keep all this stuff afloat. I said, what exactly does it take for you guys? Like what is the end game here? I mean, ultimately, you have got to understand that what you are doing doesn't benefit your life. I'm sure that your wife would appreciate you being more forthcoming with her and honest with her and stop cheating on her. That would be nice. So I'm just like, come on, like, I don't even understand this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Well, I found the video that I was talking about. And I'm going to just get it here and get it ready for you guys as well. But yeah, it is challenging sometimes to have these conversations, especially with a big man. Like, I'm not his mama. I shouldn't be having this conversation with him. But young people, they get in situations. They feel like they know what they're doing. And no, you don't know what you're doing. And that's what I had to say to her. I said, listen to me, baby girl. I said, I know you think you know it all. And trust me, that would be amazing. But I said, you're going to understand. Again, I'm going to give you a piece of advice. We have been there, right? All women, I feel like, have been fooled by a man at some point in her life. And we all thought that we knew better. Trust me. We were like, oh, no, I can handle this situation. Sure you can. Nope. In the end, you couldn't handle nothing. All right. I want you guys to watch this. And then I'm going to take I got to run to the bathroom as well. I got to take a bathroom break. So listen to Elvie, talking about listen to Cardi B. Well, whoever people listening to, they're listening to Cardi B. They're listening to, well, nobody listening to Nicki Minaj anymore because she's lost most of her followers. I guess Trump can try and listen to her. I don't know. Morning, Madam Dean. Mystic says, well, at this point, you need to do a side show called Sandra Fix My Life. Pilot and Young Story. Lord have mercy. Marshall, good morning to you. Okay, I'm going to play this video for you guys because I do want you to listen to the video. And I think there's some good elements in here. And then that'll give me a quick opportunity to do a little bathroom break while we're at it. And then I'm going to be right back. But listen very, very carefully to this lesson of the fists, it's called.
Now, another belief we have that is important to recognize is often we believe that they made me feel this way, right? We'll say, boy, that person made me so angry, right? I think we want to be a little bit careful about holding on to that belief because when we do, we make this person the most important person in our life. On a scale of 1 to 10, to what degree do you want this person running your life? 0. And yet, if we define running our life by occupying our thoughts and emotions, to what degree are we allowing them when we react that way? Yeah, 10. So what we've got to do is recognize that they don't make us feel that way, but that's kind of hard. Let me give you an example here. Let's assume this difficult person is a clerk, okay, and you're standing in line, you're returning some merchandise, the people in front of you are dealing with this person's being rude, obnoxious, loud, arrogant, and you're watching this and kind of getting angrier and angrier, and you're just about to deal with this person, and someone whispers in your ear, I don't know if you know it or not, but their 1-year-old child was killed in a car wreck a couple of days ago. Oh, do we now feel defensive? No. Frustrated? Loud? No. Withdrawn? Superior? Look at this. We are no longer confused because our beliefs about this person have changed. And based on that, we're now interpreting their behavior differently. We now feel different emotions. How do we feel about them now? Sorry for them, compassionate. What's our behavior likely to be? More tolerant, compassionate. There's a great quote that speaks to how compassion can play a role here. It says, compassion is the antitoxin of the soul. I love that part. Compassion is the antitoxin of the soul. Where there is compassion, even the most poisonous impulses remain relatively harmless. So, remember we talked about how problematic resentment can be. It can be a poison, you know. Well, if resentment is the poison, then maybe compassion is the antitoxin. Something to think about. What we want to be very clear, however, is we've got to change this perspective. Okay, let's look at what we've talked about so far. We began talking about the cycle of conflict. How when they are a certain way, we find ourselves reacting a certain way. That makes them worse. We react to that. We create this cycle of conflict, which again seems to feed off of itself. We've also looked at that when we try to change them first, remember the lesson of the fist, they get more resistant. They become more the way we don't want them to be. We also talked about what is really underlying all of this. What's really underlying all of this is beliefs. Their beliefs about the world, they think this is a dangerous place to be. Our beliefs about them. We've also talked about how when we can begin to see them with some sense of compassion, we can begin to change our reaction. Now, I'm not saying that you always have to be compassionate in dealing with difficult people. However, if you're talking about feeling defensive, frustrated, loud, withdrawn, confused, crazy, or compassionate, sometimes compassionate isn't a bad choice. Because remember, one of the things we're wanting to do is not take on their stuff, not match them in the way they're interacting with us so that we get all stressed up and have no place to go. So what we're going to do this section is we're going to look a little bit more specifically at when we find ourselves dealing with one of these difficult people, how can we interact with them in a way that actually taps into their internal motivation to hear what we have to say as valuable. Not only just resolves the conflict, because that's kind of like putting out a fire, you know. And when you put out a fire, you always know there's some smoldering embers underneath there, right? So rather than have us just going around putting out fires, what I'd like to show you how to do is actually change the relationship with that person so they become less of an enemy and more of an ally. How to do that? Well, I think it's important to recognize that there are probably some
I'm trying to find the very, very specific section that deals with the lesson, the lesson of the fist. Okay, here we go. I don't want you to listen to the whole thing. All right, so my apologies. This is a section now that I want you to hear, because this is the point about resistance. And when we're dealing with people, especially children, I think this is something, but anybody really, have a listen to this.
Supposed to do. Hit them back. So I'd go, no, Steve, you're wrong. And you'd go,
no, I think you're wrong.
Oh, I know you're wrong.
No, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
So what I think is important to recognize is we have to be careful about going immediately to that active perspective. For instance, let me ask you the question. What do you think these people are going to be, more active or receptive? Active, exactly. They're going to be actively resistant. So if we're active right back, here's what we create, that cycle of conflict. Now let me demonstrate to you how the receptive perspective or the receptive position can be valuable and powerful even. I'm going to ask a friend of mine to come up. Steve Butler. Let's give Steve a hand. Thank you, Steve. I've asked Steve to come up and help me demonstrate this. Steve, what I'd like for you to do is hit my hand and say, Bill, you're wrong.
Bill, you're wrong.
All right. Now, in our culture, when someone hits you, especially if it's a guy, what are you supposed to do? Hit him back. So I'd go, no, Steve, you're wrong. And you'd go,
no, I think you're wrong.
Oh, I know you're wrong.
No, I'm sorry, you're wrong.
No, you're wrong. So you're wrong. We have just created the cycle of conflict. Have you noticed? The more I escalate, the more he escalates, and here we go. Now, I say in our culture, when someone hits you, you're supposed to hit them back. In other cultures, that's not the same thing. In other cultures, the idea is not to get hit in the first place. So, Steve, here's what I'd like you to do. Swing at me slow motion and say, Bill, you're wrong.
Bill, you're wrong.
Okay, look, it took very little energy for me to step aside, okay? Before, I had to meet his energy and try to push him back. And let's assume I could do that. Obviously, I can't, but let's assume that I could beat Steve. Like, I could win by becoming more difficult or more active than he was, and I could bring Steve to his knees. What do you think Steve would be thinking about me at this point? Yeah, not real happy, right? Revenge. I would have just created, feel free to stand up, Steve. I would have just created what I call an ambassador of doom, who is now very motivated to go out and trash me and my department, my organization. We don't want to create this ambassador of doom. Matter of fact, we want them to cooperate with us more. But they're being actively resistant. What do we do? Try that again. Bill, you're wrong.
Bill, you're wrong.
Now look, he's already moving in this direction. It took very little energy for me to take him, moving him in this direction, and turn the conversation around. Now, here's what I did do, and here's what I didn't do. I didn't take him and throw him across the room, right? I mean, he would have gotten angry. And I didn't even drag him across the room. He was already moving.
I want to find just the specific section because I don't want you guys to have to listen to this whole thing. I am going to look for the specific bit that I'm trying to find about change and the lesson of the fist as it's called. But basically the lesson is that the more you try to change someone, the more they're going to resist. And so that is one of the lessons I think that as parents and even people in the community, because, listen, let me be very, very clear. Some of our politicians need to learn this lesson of the fist too, because they're out here trying to implement change in the community. immigration change, policy change. They're trying to change behavior through legislation. And if the basic premise is the more you try to change people, the more they're going to be stuck and try to remain in their position, then you have to understand a thing or two about what's called change management. I am going to find that section because I think it's one of those really, really, really super important lessons that we could all learn from, to be honest. So give me some time. I'm going to try to locate that. Yes, I will do just that. All right. Let me see here now. Okay. I'm gonna give me some time. I'm gonna find it. Might not be today because I'm ending the show on time all week so that I can still enjoy my vacation. All right. Good morning. Lucky Body claims that Nikki has actually gained followers. Yeah. That's not what the numbers were showing. Morning again, Marshall. Let me just do a few more comments. Thank you guys so much. Andrew says we all have choices. We cannot blame anyone for our mistakes. Yeah, I mean, I think at some point in life, you've got to take accountability, obviously. But let's be clear that, what you've done or what you've been exposed to has a direct influence and a direct impact on the choices that you are going to make. That's the whole point, really. YouTuber says, no, your improvement reflects in their lack thereof, and they then expose the insecurities on you. So talking about the people who themselves are not making any changes, but then, want to make you feel a particular way because you have. Mr. Edward Parr says, I'm now watching for the first time. Welcome, sir. Hope you're getting something out of the program today. You're enjoying it. So Island Pearl says, if company dictates who we are, what does that mean? The area, neighborhood you came from, who you're going to be as well. So I think that the other part to this equation, Island Pearl, is company can dictate who you are. Yes, that's very true. But that doesn't mean that where you've come from, you have to stay in that place. So I think the point is you can change your company. You can make better decisions. You can change some of the circumstances, certainly in your life. And so I get what you're saying, because Island Pearl is like, okay, if you grew up in a particular neighborhood and you didn't have a choice as a kid about that, that's all you knew. But when you become an adult, I think there are choices that you can make, right? And a lot of parents recognize, even from their own self, that if they do a better job of removing children from certain environments, they see how that has a real role to play in the life of their child. I think any parent who has grown up in these same neighborhoods that you're talking about, right? They're conscious, like, okay, if in my neighborhood, that's all I can afford, and my kids are growing up around gangbangers, and they're seeing this degree of violence, most parents are like, I want to get my child out of here. I don't want to live in this neighborhood if I can help it. I want to try to find a better, safer neighborhood so that my child isn't exposed. Because there's some neighborhoods, that's all you see, people on the streets constantly selling drugs. You see open prostitution. You see all this stuff. And undoubtedly, Island Pearl, those things will have an impact on you. But it does not mean that you have to follow and go down that path, because at some point, yes, you'll have to make a decision. Irvin says, we were a close-knit family, and that didn't allow strangers in our space. It was just church, school, shop, and home. And so, yes, I mean, obviously, sometimes that's for the best. The more people you keep away from your children, and you curtail the exposure, sometimes the better as well. But what do you do, as a parent? I've seen this happen with a few kids that I've seen around the place where, one kid is not such a bad kid. The other kid is having a lot of issues. And for whatever reason, normally, I'll tell you the truth, what ends up happening is the kid who is the pretty good kid is, excuse me. Oh, my apologies. the kid who is a pretty good kid normally is attracted to the other kid because, there's something in their personality. They've got charisma, they've got personality. And so the other kid tends to be like more shy, and he kind of like, oh, I want to hang out with him. He's the it kid to be around. And as a parent, that can be very, very difficult to navigate. Like, what do you do in a situation like that? And so going back to what the caller said earlier, those are the difficulties that you have to then try to navigate, really. And it is not always easy, trust me. So some interesting things there, and I would love to hear how parents have navigated that situation and what they've done. Has it actually worked? Like, did you find that actually helped to put your child in a better situation, better relationships? Like, how do you get them away from someone that you really truly don't want them hanging out with? I think giving kids options is always a great idea too. So yeah. Sky KY Forever says she gained Trump support, no followers. Oh Lord, I'm glad y'all think she has Trump support. Yeah, she thought so too, because she also thought she'd gotten the gold card, and come to find out they're like, nah, psych, that's just a little memento. We didn't give you no gold card. Lord have mercy. All right, let me read some messages that are coming in. Just tuning in and hope I'm not off topic. Yes, honey child, you are off topic. That ain't what we are talking about. Just calling me from a 727 number. What's 727? I don't even know what that is. Show number 9362626. Oh, so good morning, Miss Sandy. My sister just called me and said that you were just talking about her case with her daughter. It's okay. And to let you know that the two are still together. And like 2 weeks ago, they were called to the office because the two of them had a problem with one of the supervisors on the New York flight. Same thing happened in the hotel with the two of them. Oh, wow. Thanks for the update. I'm really sad to hear that this pilot is still engaging in this behavior, and that, I didn't think that the young lady would have learned. She is young. And so, now she's going to waste probably years of her life as pilot, who's not going to mean her any good. And yeah, that really saddens me. But there's going to be no better lesson for her than to go through this on her own. She's going to waste the best years of her life on him. And has he left his wife? He's not going nowhere. He's not doing nothing. And yeah, that's really sad to hear. Thanks for the update, though. I really appreciate you updating me. Oh, Lord Jesus. And, that's a lesson right there as well, in that, young people, you can talk to them. And they unfortunately don't always listen to you, and they're going to have to learn the hard way. So yeah, wow. But she can rest assured, let her, hey, let her live her life, mama. There's not much that you can do. But she'll one day she'll see everything that we told her, that I told her, is going to be the truth. And that you tried to tell her as your mother is going to be the truth. And all you can do, like I said, is to be there with her, to help her pick up the pieces. And I really, really hope that Cayman Airways as an organization needs to do something about the fraternization that happens there. These pilots are so irresponsible with their behavior. And this is something that historically they have always been known. The vast majority of them are just so disrespectful You know, they become pilots. They wear that uniform. You know, little kids look up to them. People look up to them. But when it comes to this particular thing, they are the worst. I swear to God. When that story came out about the Baden guy, I was not surprised. I was like, how many times he have been cheating on that poor wife and every other wife and every other girlfriend? And, you know, they think this is cool. This is what they want to do with their lives. And just because they're a pilot, they feel like people respect them, which is unfortunate. Faith and Hope says, I like your response on this. Company, show me your company. Tell me who you are. The other saying is birds of a feather flock together. Yes, it's a decision, not easy, but this is where proper guidance and showing of some short films on what relates to what you're trying to get across. I'm feeling the chill out here today. Sarah says, it's about time this comes out. Sarah, girl, you used to work for Cayman Airways. You know this is a long-standing issue. And, you know, I'm actually going to reach out to, because it really does bother me. I mean, I can only think, what if my daughter one day comes to me and be like, Mommy, I would like to work for a national airline. Y'all know I legit love Cayman Airways, but I would say absolutely not. Because the day one of them pilots look at you, I got to go in that cockpit myself and box him down. They prey on these young girls. And it's wrong. It's not an equal relationship. I got to reach out to them for comment. Because I think the government, the ministry, we're talking about passing sexual harassment legislation. No, man, I can't. It doesn't set right with my soul to know that this is happening with international airline. And so I'm going to reach out to the minister, Mr. Gary Ruddy. Is he Cayman Airways? I think Cayman Airways falls under him. I know tourism, you know, I got to reach out. And I'm also going to reach out to the CEO of Cayman Airways, Mr. Fabian Worms, and see what he has to say on this as well. Because if the policy isn't even there, what does that say about how much management even cares about this issue? I bet you if this pilot knew that his job, and all other pilots who keep doing this foolishness, if they knew that their jobs were on the line, they're not gonna, as we say, they're not gonna do what you say, don't poop where you eat. They're not gonna do that. So KY Forever says, Sandy, to be honest, I don't think nobody going to dare to mess with Gigi because they know who she for. Listen, some of them stupid, you know. KY Forever, some of them would try you. Trust and believe they gonna try, and boy, the good Lord gonna have to help them. Wow. No, sir. Just wrong on so many levels. I don't like it. I do not like it. But, you know, it's been an issue for a really long time. So we gotta address it. Leave it with me. I'm gonna get on top of Cayman Airways and ask why they don't have this policy in their book. And if they do, it's clearly not being enforced, and they need to enforce it. Good morning, Miss Marva. How are you doing? Lord Jesus. Anyway, folks, like I said, I am going to really just wow. All right. We got a couple more minutes left in the program. I'm going to try to get some details on their policy. This person says, good morning. Seen a move last night with a pilot and a young flight attendant in Cayman Airways. I could see the other flight attendants were talking about her. She was stuck on him like white on rice, but not sure if it is that set. The sad thing is it happens all the time. There's like so many that it's disgusting. If this was a one-off thing, I could tell you that That would be different. This person says also a lot of them are actually married to some of the flight attendants, and that's how it all started. They met at work and go on those overnight flights. Also, a lot of marriages have broken up too since their wives started working there for the same thing, pilots messing with them. Wow. Lord, step in over here, please. Take Cayman Airways under your wings. Because what is flying over there is crazy. Oh no. Oh my goodness. Not good. Mm-mm. No bueno. All right, I will inquire. Melanie says it happens at all airlines. This is nothing new. And like I said, I can understand the dynamics of pilots being in a position of power and these poor little stewardess feeling like, oh, they can land a pilot or whatever. But Lord Jesus, no. Cayman and Cayman Airways is too small for it. Sarah says there is no policy. There should be a policy, right? That's like at universities. You can't have a university professor in a relationship with a student because of the power dynamics of the relationship. That equates to sexual harassment. Surely you can find somebody else to date if you insist on cheating on your wives. Surely you can find someone outside of work. The fraternization that happens, the same thing, I say politicians, y'all can't be up in the civil service, be trying to date civil servants. That's not right. You know, it just, oh my God. When are we going to get this sexual harassment legislation in place? And there needs to be a clear definition. And I hope that this sort of thing would be covered in the definition. And then there needs to be some action that can be taken. No, sir. I'm good, Miss Marva. A little bit chilly, but I'm good otherwise. Morning to Miss Sue. Anthony says, and especially now, with all the marriages for convenience, Spaniards that are working there now, this equals a lot of fraternizing. Only now it's rampant, Bobo. You know, listen, I'm aware that it has always been going on. And I don't know whether it got anything to do with them being Spaniards or not. It's just a level of professionalism that you know. And then they wonder, you know, I heard that some of the stewardess, oh, they're having mental health issues. I'm like, really? Shock and surprisation. Of course they have mental health issues when they got to deal with some of these pilots, constantly sexually harassing them and stuff. What else you think? No, sir. Anyway, I'm going to find that segment, about the lesson of the fist. Oh, yes, the minister that falls under the Honorable Gary Ruddy. Why hasn't Cal put in place an and who's on the board these days? Anti-fraternization policy with pilots and stewardess or / flight attendants, because it could be male or female. Let's make it very, very clear, because we got male flight attendants. Maybe some of the pilots trying to go after them too. You never know. This is something I'm honestly going to advocate for. If you want to be together, one of you has to leave the national airline. You can't both be there. Sorry. Lack of professionalism, naturally, Andrea, it's definitely that, but it's also goes above and beyond that. It is, think about the implications of them having an issue at work and what that means for even the safety of passengers and stuff like that. No, honey child, they're not gonna work. I've probably seen this young lady in one of the flights and did not even know it, Next time I'm on the flight, will one of you stewardess who it's not you just pinch me and say, Sandy, that's her, so I can know. Miss Sue says, yes, all airlines like it for years. Yeah, just because it's been happening for years, from Jesus was in sandals or diapers or whatever, doesn't mean that it's right, and it doesn't mean that it cannot change. We've come a long way, honey child, so we got to do things differently. All right, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. We are going to be ending the show on time this week because, yes, I am away. I am on holiday. I am on vacation. And so I'm dedicated to doing the show only for 2 hours. There will be 0 overtime this week. We are going to stay focused. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning. KY Forever says it's disgusting and degrading to the company name and reputation. And that's what Cayman Airways should worry about. And I think that there is that as well. But I'm more concerned about the mental health and safety of especially the person who is in the subordinate position. But I'm also concerned about the safety of us as passengers when things start to go wrong. So someone, just mentioned how they were having some issue with the supervisor. It causes all kind of conflict. Like it can't, there's no world in which that makes any sense to allow that as a company policy. Ms. Sue says the girls can refuse, be stronger. That's easier said than done. Trust me, these guys are putting them under a lot of pressure. So I think it's easier said than done. It just shouldn't be allowed. All right, thank you so much. KY says I'm cooking breakfast and not seeing my typos. No worries, I figured out what you're trying to say. Shaka Zulu says enjoy your vacation with the family. Auntie Sandy, thank you so much. And we are now going to be off to go and enjoy some of that family time together. So thank you guys so much. Someone just sent a follow message. Good morning. This is another situation. An ad where they're looking for shared room. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, that's another show. Good morning. I like being around productive people. I also like to work honest and hard to play harder. Our kids and some of our people are shy. I think we never thought our little islands would develop so big. They've traveled, know the difference. They're more involved and outspoken. Sandy, if she's old enough, let them be. She needs to be to experience this for herself. Oh no, I mean, she's gonna definitely experience it for herself. No two ways about that. And it'll take a minute for her to realize, poor little thing, that she gave up her virginity to the wrong dude. But that's on them, child. Nope, she will learn. All right, folks, let me end the program there. You guys have a wonderful day. Sophia says, yes, I had problems too. Need a show. Belated birthday greetings. Oh, Marshall, when was your birthday? Happy belated birthday, Marshall. Also, we had another birthday, from Macfield. I think we posted him last night. So happy birthday to him as well. Let me just see here now. I need to figure out a little stand for my side monitor here. Someone says that sounds like a Jeffrey Epstein situation. Well, not quite as bad. Marshall's birthday celebration on February the 14th. Oh, hey. Yes, sir. Looking good, looking good. Very nice. Happy birthday. Wait a minute. You were born on Valentine's Day? Oh, man. I feel sorry for you guys born on holidays like that. You're not getting any extra gifts, right? All right, folks. Thank you guys so much. Please enjoy the rest of the day. Today is Monday. We'll be back here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. So we will see you then. Until then, please take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels. And visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.